The sun rose slowly over the Igbo village, casting a golden glow on the thatched roofs and dirt paths winding through the community. The morning air was thick with anticipation. Inside the royal compound, tension gripped the midwives, their whispers barely audible above the queen's labored breathing. As the first cry of a newborn pierced the silence, a wave of relief swept through the compound. Moments later, another cry followed, and the relief turned to shock. The queen had given birth to twins. In Igbo tradition, twins were seen as an abomination, a curse that brought imbalance to the earth goddess's order. The midwives exchanged panicked glances. One of them stepped outside, her voice trembling as she announced the news. The revelation spread through the village like wildfire. By sundown, the elders had gathered in an emergency council, their faces somber. Sacred law dictated that the twins must be abandoned in the evil forest to restore harmony. Despite the queen's tearful pleas, the decree was carried out. Under the cover of darkness, the twins, Osinachi and Kaneo, were left in the forest to die. The next morning, Nkem, a skilled hunter, ventured into the forest, his gun slung over his shoulder and a quiver of spears at his back. The evil forest was a place he often avoided, but rumors of a rogue leopard in the area drove him deeper into its shadowy depths. As he crouched to inspect a trail, he paused, his keen ears catching the faint sound of a baby's cry. Nkem froze, every instinct urging him to retreat. But the cries persisted, tugging at his heart. With cautious steps, he followed the sound, his grip tightening on his gun. Hidden beneath a cluster of leaves, he found a tiny baby girl, her cries weak but persistent. Nkem's mind raced. The sight of the child abandoned in the wilderness filled him with both anger and sorrow. He looked to the heavens, whispering, perhaps the gods spared her for a reason. Against every instinct of self-preservation, he wrapped the child in his hunting cloak and carried her home. He named her Osinachi, meaning God's gift, and raised her as his own daughter. Though he lived modestly, he showered her with love, teaching her the values of courage, survival, and compassion. Osinachi grew into a striking young woman, her intelligence and resilience earning her admiration from all who knew her. Yet, questions about her origin haunted her. Whenever she pressed Nkem, he would only say, "The gods brought you to me, and that is enough." Growing up, Osinachi's life was far from easy. Though Nkem's love never wavered, the whispers of villagers who questioned her origins were a constant reminder of her outsider status. Some called her a cursed child, others whispered that she was a spirit born of the forest. Nkem shielded her as best he could, his firm voice silencing the rumors whenever they reached his ears. But Osinachi was determined to prove herself. From a young age, she joined Nkem on his hunting trips, learning the ways of the forest. She became adept with a bow, her sharp eyes and steady hands earning Nkem's praise. She was fearless, navigating the dense underbrush with an ease that astonished even the most seasoned hunters in the village. At home, she worked tirelessly alongside Nkem, preparing the game he brought back and tending to their small compound. Though their meals were simple, the bond they shared made every moment precious. Nkem would often recount stories of the gods and ancestors by the fire, his deep voice weaving tales of bravery and wisdom. Osinachi listened intently, her admiration for him growing with every story. Yet, challenges continued to test her resolve. When drought struck the village, food became scarce, and tensions ran high. Nkem's hunts became more dangerous as animals retreated deeper into the forest. Osinachi, determined to help, ventured out alone one fateful morning. She returned hours later with a small antelope, her face streaked with dirt and her eyes alight with pride. Nkem's embrace that evening spoke volumes, his pride in her unspoken, but deeply felt. Through every challenge, Osinachi and Nkem grew closer, their relationship more than that of father and daughter. Nkem was her protector, her teacher, and her confidant. And for Nkem, Osinachi was his reason to endure, his source of joy in a world that often felt harsh and unforgiving. But even as they shared laughter and triumphs, a quiet unease lingered in Nkem's heart. He knew the truth of Osinachi's origins, a truth he feared would one day shatter the life they had built together. 25 years later, the king lay frail on his deathbed. With no heir to succeed him, despair gripped the village. The king summoned the native doctor, who delivered a shocking prophecy. One of the twins abandoned in the evil forest was alive and must return to claim the throne. If the twin was not found, the royal lineage would end, and the village would descend into chaos. The king's guards set out immediately, traveling from village to village, searching for any clue about the lost twin. Their quest eventually led them to Nkem's village, where tales of a mysterious young woman with unmatched wisdom and bravery had reached their ears. When the guards laid eyes on Osinachi, they were struck by her regal bearing. They revealed her true identity, proclaiming that she was the king's daughter. The news left Osinachi reeling. That night, Nkem sat beside Osinachi, his weathered hands trembling. The next morning, as they bid Osinachi farewell, Nkem said tearfully, "My daughter," he began, his voice heavy with emotion, "I have kept the truth from you for too long." He recounted the fateful day he found her in the forest, his voice breaking as he described his decision to save her. Tears streamed down Osinachi's face as she grappled with the revelation. Though her heart ached, she understood her duty. "You are the only father I have ever known," she said, her voice resolute, "but if the gods have called me to this, I cannot refuse." Osinachi returned to the village of her birth, her arrival met with a mix of awe and suspicion. The king, now barely able to speak, mustered his remaining strength to embrace her. "You are my daughter," he declared, his voice filled with pride. "The gods have brought you back to us." The elders, initially resistant, were swayed by the native doctor's prophecy and Osinachi's natural leadership. She spoke to the villagers with a calm authority, her words inspiring hope and unity. After the king's death, Osinachi was crowned as the first female ruler of the village. Her reign was marked by profound changes. One of her first decrees was to abolish the taboo against twins, declaring it an outdated and unjust tradition. Her story became a powerful symbol of courage and destiny, a reminder that change was not only possible, but necessary for progress. Under her leadership, the village flourished, entering an era of justice and prosperity. Osinachi's bond with Nkem remained unbroken. Though she now ruled a kingdom, she often sought his counsel, honoring the man who had risked everything to save her. Just as peace seemed to have settled over the village, the native doctor came to Osinachi with urgent news. His voice trembled as he spoke. "The gods have sent another vision. There is more to your destiny than the throne. What I have seen will change the fate of this village forever." What new revelation awaits Osinachi? And how will it reshape the destiny of her people? Stay tuned for the next chapter of The Twin and the Throne. For watching. Support our channel by liking, subscribing, and turning on post notifications.